So as I was saying, talking about making a joke, but then realizing, hey, there's something that my daughter does not understand about 1 Peter 3:7. So I'm going to go ahead and toss this one out with some exposition. Likewise, husbands, live with your wives in an understanding way, showing honor to the woman as the weaker vessel, since they are heirs with you of the grace of life, so that your prayers may not be hindered. Okay, we have this mindset that assumes that because somebody wrote this from the first century, they're sexist. And that they're saying women are weak. No, they're saying women are weaker in this case. The weaker vessel. Now, what is actually going on here? Because if you realize something and you want to get your knickers in a twist, just realize weaker implies that men are also weak. We have a weakness that we need to glory in, because in our weakness we are made strong, in the words of Paul. Peter comes to this passage and he talks about weaker vessel. He's not necessarily talking about weaker vessel. Weaker as in, less strong, this, that, and the other. We have vessels. A vessel is used for storing something. You have vessels for this. This is a glass vase for flowers. You have vessels for wine, right here, which is a strong glass wine bottle. You have vessels for coffee, right here. My Seattle mug. My wife's Seattle mug, actually. Vessels define purpose. We have a vessel for holding the watermelon, which is a bowl. We have vessels for water jugs and containers. We have different kinds of vessels. We have vessels for smelting iron and gold and other things. It's not just about stick the iron ore in with the coal and out comes out the iron ingot. No, it's not like that. You actually have to put it in a bucket and get it boiling, as in a Bessemer furnace, as with a Bessemer furnace, or some sort of furnace, and heat it to 3,000 degrees Fahrenheit, or whatever the case, 3 to 8. So our dynamics here are that we have different vessels for different types of things. You, as a woman, might be, instead of a jar for smelting iron, you might be a vase for flowers. There's nothing wrong with being a vase for flowers. You might be something a little more delicate. There's nothing wrong with that. We get offended, though, bait of Satan, as we've been teaching recently. And we think, oh, the Lord's not using me for this task, so I must be weak. Not necessarily. You might be weaker. You might be more delicate. Cut glass vessel for holding sugar. You might be made for holding coffee. You might be made for holding milk, as in a cardboard carton. We have different vessels for different purposes, and our job is not to get offended because the Lord is not using us for a particular purpose when He has designed us for a different purpose. Let me point out another dynamic here. Say you have a woman who decides that she wants to become a man. What frequently happens with this, or a man that wants to become a woman, is they want to accept, as like going through a cafeteria line, portions of femininity and portions of masculinity. But they don't want to accept all of it. There are certain things that go with being a man, certain things that go with being a woman that are unpleasant. For example, no man would want to go through the act of menstruation. It is very painful and very difficult frequently. Likewise, no woman would want to be caught, most women would not want to be caught doing the skilled trades, because there's a bit of grit to it and you have to bone up a little bit. There are certain things that women would not want to do naturally, even if they chose to change genders. There are certain things that men would not want to engage in, even though they would want to change genders. So what typically happens is a cafeteria change-up, where we pick and choose. not realizing that God has designed us for something. And then we get offended because we think, oh, I can't have this, therefore God is unfair. And we say, oh, I'm going to get offended. Pam, do you have something to add?
I think design does have an awful lot to do with it. And the truth and the reality is God designed the male body, the male hormone system, the male muscular setup differently than he designed the female. We have a lot in common, and there are some differences. And rather than I don't think it's a terrible thing for a woman to say, hey, I'm going to take the body that God has given me and I'm going to work it and bring it under control and push it to the limit to, exercise or to do a manual job or to push it. But to try to say, if I can't push my body as much as as some man that it's in competition with or whatever is just not realistic.
Yep.
It's, and there are a number of women who have more male portions of their spirit than female, and they tend on the more masculine side. They're not as frilly or, they don't want to wear pretty dresses. They don't want to, all the stereotypes get broken. And that's okay. A woman doesn't have to fit the stereotype of, prim and proper and
fat and pregnant at home.
Yeah, or fat and pregnant at home, whatever. Or constantly wearing a dress or whatever. There are a number of women who do very successfully without fitting into a female stereotype, but they're still female. And as long as you can work within the design of your body without going, God, you did something wrong, I can't work within the design of my body.
And then cursing you.
Yeah, that's not a good place to be. There are men that have more of a female portions of their spirit than male, and so they're still a man, but they're going to tend toward other things that seem more feminine, and so it's there's a design thing. His body is designed where he can go and if he just regularly was at the gym, he could bench press, let's say he could go from bench pressing 50 to bench pressing 300, where if I was on the same routine, I might go from bench pressing 50 to bench pressing 125. And 125 might be the high end for me. It might not. I'm just using it as an example. And as long as I continued working my body, I need to honor and respect the fact that I get to a certain spot, and it might be the top of where I am, where his can go further. But we have a different design. So I think cursing your body and being mad at God for how you're designed is a bad choice.
Yeah.
But I also think that we don't take our bodies as far as we could. We could take our bodies further. We could bring our bodies more into submission than we do.
Correct.
I remember when he was working at CNS, he was in a freezer, 20 below, huffing huge 60, 80 pound boxes all the time. That was a lot of work. His body was in a different place than it is right now. And man, was he strong. But this is what he did all day long, and it was a miserable job, but it took care of the bills, it took care of the kids, and he was able to see what his body is capable of.
He could pick me up, no problem.
Yeah, he picked me up, no problem.
Yes.
So, his body is capable of doing that.
Yeah. Let me point something else out. Woman's design in the garden was to be the early warning system for the enemy. They were designed to engage in warfare and be warrior helpers. Okay? Unlike some of my friends, I don't have a problem with the term helpmeet. Helper suitable for him. Because, to me, basically what that says is partner in crime, as the case may be. Or partner in advancing the kingdom. The alarm system of a house is just as necessary as the guard dog. The man is designed to be the guard dog. The woman is designed to be the early warning alarm system when they've broken the perimeter and saying, danger, danger.
But sometimes the woman is a guard dog. I'm just saying.
Danger.
But
I'm just-
what we're missing here is that we have this dynamic where we think, oh, I have to curse my design. And because I am made as a flower vase as opposed to a coffee mug or an iron vessel, that my design is substandard. The woman is designed to honestly at times be protected. There's a delicacy that's there. They do protect their kids, that is true. There is guard dog dynamic, that is true. But this whole dynamic of being the more fragile, delicate, beautiful vessel is something not to be cursed. Lower down. So, gang, what I'm saying is I don't want y'all to think because I'm not X, there's something wrong with me. Flow how God made you.
And don't let the enemy tell you you were supposed to be something else and God cheated you, because he's lying to you. Your design was very specifically made. Every aspect of your design was very specifically made, and your birthright's in line with it, and the plans that God has for you is in line with it. What you do with it is your choice. But he gives you, he set you up with the opportunities that he set you up with, and the calling to go with it.
The Lord made you as a wine bottle and instead of an iron vessel, don't curse it. Wine is used in the celebrations of kings. It's a very honorable place. Fragrance of spikenard, alabaster, very delicate. Holds something very, 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 very valuable.
Mm-hmm.
So, asking what this passage actually is referring to, I just wanted to throw that out there because maybe there's a little bit of confusion. And maybe we don't recognize that weaker is a comparative verb, meaning that there's something else that is weak. Men are designed to be weak alongside women, even if women are quote unquote weaker. What that really is saying is more delicate. And in our weakness, he is made strong.
Right. We all have weakness where we need to find his strength. We all hit spots where we can't solve the problem on purpose, so that we learn to hear from him and rely on him. He puts us in situations that seem impossible to us, so we learn how to hear from him, rely on him, and trust him.
Yeah. And women and men need each other. The community is necessary. The fruitful multiplication of the community is something God specifically commands, and we connect with and pray for and protect one another and watch out for one another. We join one another in the foxholes.
Mm-hmm.
Be blessed.
Nice enough. Isaac, enough.
Love you guys.